Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Sunday service of Now Creations. It's a beautiful sunshiny day here in Youngstown. I hope you feel that love and beauty within your own self, wherever you might be. Obviously, want to wish a very happy Mother's Day to all mothers, present and past. You are the mighty bows from which we as arrows have been sent forth. Also want to welcome all of you to our evening discussion on the new earth with Eckhart Tolle from 6 to 7:30 this evening. My dear friends, I so appreciate the many responses that so many of you made to the game of separation, last week's teaching. For many of you, as you said, it was so liberating, so freeing. Things maybe that you have often thought but didn't have words for. Intuitively, you knew that things were not just right the way things were. It was very difficult to understand or to grasp how and why. So last week's teaching on separation, combined with the topical conversation we had on Gnosticism, have become such foundational pieces for us to go forward, and we will certainly do so. However, some of you asked if I would say a few more things about the game of separation as you are mulling it over and allowing it to sink in. So what I'd like to do is to try to accommodate that. I'd like to say a few more words about separation, freeing us from fear, freeing us from doubt and guilt and shame. I'm very happy to do so, and will do so in a very positive way in today's teaching entitled The Helpers. The Helpers. So let's begin with a brief comment and then proceed to focus on the helpers, that we have had in the process in our game of separation, as well as bringing us to our present state of awareness. First, a brief comment. It is very important for us to understand that we were not the only ones who were playing the game of separation. Everyone else around us was helping us to play the game as well. And everyone was involved with the game. We were helping each other to play the game of separation. We were providing an experience for each other to grow. In fact, what I want to suggest is we had two sets of helpers. The first group who helped us were those who seemed to have caused us the most grief. Before I mention examples of this group, we need to focus on the word seemed. This group of antagonists only seemed to have been problems in retrospect. Notice I said in retrospect. In fact, they were in your life to enable you to experience separation to a greater degree. They really seemed to be your enemies. They really seemed to be your arch rivals. Whereas in fact, they were just helping you to experience the game of separation. And oh, by the way, you were helping them to experience the same. We all play this game of separations in ways that we seemed to antagonize each other so we could experience separation as much as possible, when in fact, we were blessings to each other to play the game of separation. We helped each other to experience separation. We convincingly played our parts as mutual antagonists, so that we could have the experience of separation. Even though at times when we seemed to be friends. In fact, those with whom we probably had our most difficult moments, with whom we seemed to be at our wits' end. And don't forget, we were the same for them. These very same people were probably the ones who were our dearest helpers to experience separation. Now that we can understand what was occurring, we truly realize that they and we did not have to take things personally. We were just helping each other to make the game of separation so very, very convincing. It was not personal. It was an aid to experience separation. So let me suggest the following as a partial list of those who have helped us as antagonists. First of all, those of us, in a sense, are those who created the most grief in your life. The people that just created the most grief in your life. Those who pushed your buttons more than anyone else, and you certainly know who they are. Those that thought that you were unfair. Those, in a sense, who rejected your advances, and maybe you rejected theirs. Those who lied to you. Maybe those who spoke ill of you. Those who you just didn't like. Just didn't like them. Those who you tried to control but could not. Those who made you feel inadequate. Those who are always bragging about themselves. Those that might have embarrassed you by their comments. Those who just didn't seem to like you. Those who you just couldn't win over. As well as places and situations where you just never fit in. Of course, the list could go on and on. The two comments are in order. The first one is pretty important. The first one is that your uncomfortableness in any of the situations above had an integral part to play. Your uncomfortableness had an integral part to play. You see, it was the negative interchange. It was the negative interchange with the others that made the situations uncomfortable to you. But also, you made the situation uncomfortable for others. It was the negative interchange that affected both of you. Now you might say, well, you never intentionally meant to do that. And I bet if you asked the other party that they would say, well, they never intentionally meant to be an antagonist to you. It was the interchange. It was the relationship that caused the problem. Just as you would not blame yourself for intentionally having created the problem, so the other would probably not intentionally blame themselves. It was the interchange. It was the interchange that caused the problem. And each of you played your parts brilliantly. You were helping each other to win this miserable game of separation. A second comment. As you now recognize how the interchange between you and others enabled you to win the game, may I suggest that you consider the following two situations. First one is kind of a little comical, but true. When you see two or more other people going at it, would you please not get upset? Please, in a sense, don't get discombobulated, but say to yourself, oh my God, they are winning the game of separation. How well they are playing it. It's not only true, but it will also help you to keep your distance from the interchange and to bring a much better energy to the situation. Just interesting. Look at them and just say, oh my gosh, how well they're playing their parts. Secondly, now that you know about the energy of separation, it is important that you not re-enter the game. Now that you know about the energy of separation, it's important that you not re-enter the game. Little by little, you will release yourself from this separation energy, but do not feel that's a piece of cake. You still have to acknowledge that you might have residual energies of separation and dislike for others that need to be released. As you do so, hopefully you can happily say, good riddance, you are no longer welcome in my energy. I just want to encourage you, stay vigilant, be watchful. Don't re-enter the game. Let's now address your other list of helpers. In addition to those who kept you separated, you had a wonderful list of helpers that kept you from drowning, at least kept you afloat until you could win the game of separation on your own. May I suggest the following list of helpers, although your list might be a little different. However we view it, it's so important for us to understand that we have been helped along the way. The first group I would suggest that we look for our sense of helpers is within our own families. And again, happy Mother's Day. Within our own families, we clearly recognize the countless things that our parents did for us, the countless things, from changing our diapers to giving us a few bucks when things were not going quite so well for us. Those of us who have siblings also know the importance of having a big sister or a little brother who have and continue to foster our growth. Then, of course, there are the extended families of grandparents, aunts, and uncles and cousins. Somehow, we all seem to grow together. And please, never forget that you are also a blessing to your family. Rest assured that you help them as much as they helped you. It's very important to know you helped them as much as they helped you. It was mutual, still is. A second group of helpers were, and perhaps still are, your friends. Many of us have grown up having a best friend. And even though through the years there might have been a distance between us, the feeling was still there of having a best friend. And it still brings kind of a smile to your face, a warmth to your heart. But over the years, we have also had many friends. This is so important. We have also had many friends who have come into our lives and provided the help just when we needed it. These friends were people you met along the way of your life. They seem to make you feel better. They seem to understand you. They were people, some of whom you work with, Perhaps they were your neighbors. They were just people who were there at the right time for you. And may I say, and again, this is a very important thing for us to know, that you were a friend to them as they were a friend to you. Your meetings were not by chance. They were designed by the universe to give each of you what you needed at the moment. You were blessings to each other. Maybe not lifelong friends, but friends at the right time. May you appreciate your friends. The third set of helpers might have been your religion. For many of you, religion provided a stability for yourself, especially during your formative years, and not just as children, but also during your young adult years when the allurements of the world were very strong, and perhaps your religion helped you to not make some serious mistakes. More than anything else, however, your religion gave you a sense of being in relationship to God, a relationship to something totally other than your family or from the world. Regardless of how you now practice your religion, or perhaps maybe have taken another path, you have not drifted. You have not drifted from your relationship to your higher power, to your source, to the God Spirit. Religion has been a big help for many of us. We have grown substantially over the years, as well we should, but many times the seeds of our growth were sown by the helpers that our religion provided for us, from our favorite ministers, rabbis, and priests, to all of the crazy stories we have had about eating meat on Friday, and sometimes thinking that God could have punished us and wanted to send us to hell. We can ferret out all of the fluff and move to the essence of our wonderful relationship to our Creator. The fourth group of helpers are those who have been very inspirational to you, just inspirational to you, although you might never have met them, and perhaps you have never told them. For example, those whom perhaps you have never met, that have been beacons of light to you and to others over the span of centuries. The big lights such as Moses, the Buddha, Jesus, Muhammad, Krishna, and Lao Tzu. What helpers they have been to us, and they continue to be to us. What monuments of light they have created for us, and what movements they have engendered for us. And of course, these larger beacons have been complemented by the people in your present life who also inspire you. There are many people in our lives who inspire us just when we needed it. Many of these people you have never told, but I can also guarantee you that you have been a light for them, although perhaps they never told you. Such people have been family members, neighbors, co-workers, and friends who seem to exhibit that quality that you always felt very good in their presence. They showed up for you. They showed up for you just at the right time, and often again and again. They are your modern day saints. They are your modern day saints who have brightened your journey. They are. They have been and will continue to be your helpers. Oh, I hope I won't fail to mention you've been a help to them. You too are a modern day saint. Yes, you are. The fifth group of helpers are often called soulmates, although even this title is inadequate to describe the energy you shared with that particular person. Such a person, known only to you, has been that one person whose energy bonded to yours in an indescribable way, but in such a way that you know, and you still know, and they know. I'm not necessarily talking about friends and lovers in a casual way, but rather I'm talking about two people whose energy melded together. Perhaps they were a spouse, or are. Perhaps they are a child. Perhaps they're a family member. The telling feature in the soulmate is that they made you come alive. They made you come alive in such a way that has lifted you up. They brought out a light in you that still glows. You know who that person has been. They have been your biggest helper. They have given you the best experience of the other. And you know what I'm going to say. You've given them the best experience of the other. There are three more groups of helpers. The sixth group can often be overlooked until someone mentions them to you. So please don't forget your pets and plants. Don't forget your pets and plants. You know how significant they have been for you. Often they have become another member of the family, especially so considered when one of them might be passing away or has passed. The teaching is that pets and plants have given us unconditional love when we at times have been very fickle lovers. Our plants, our pets have given us exactly what we needed. No judgment on their parts at all. All they required was just maybe comparatively little attention, a little food, some water, even table scraps would do at times. The pets and the plants are among the mightiest of helpers. And we often understand that they will probably be with us in the hereafter. Oh yes, you were a blessing to your pets and plants. They were lucky to have you. It was mutual. The seventh helper is your God spirit, the one whose light was initially dimmed so that we could enter the game of separation. Oftentimes, God got a very bad reputation as a judgmental and punishing God. The good news is God never took it personally. God never took it personally. After all, he initiated the 4 agreements that Miguel Ruiz wrote about. He, she, it allowed you to play the game of separation and even allowed you to damn others in their name. Again, he, she, it They did not take it personally. She just realized that you were having a bad day because actually you were giving them a first class human experience of separation, and they appreciated it as they now appreciate the fact that you are back on track. There is an eighth group of helpers that I have waited until the end to add. I've done this purposely. This group involves the people you have awakened with. This group involves the people you have awakened with. This is the group of people with whom we meet regularly to advance in our spiritual lives. It is this group, of which you are a significant member, that have helped us to understand that the journey of separation that we were on is now over. And the bright light of alignment, the pathway into the future, is fully upon us. While there might be more than one group for you, I feel that Now Creations has been a group for you. Now Creation has become, for many of us, our spiritual home. And you can count on Now Creations to be a place of upliftment, comfort, and growth into the future. In a nutshell, Now Creations is a place where we spiritualize. We spiritualize for the greater good of all. It has become our church without walls. And we're helping each other. It's mutual. Well, in conclusion, it is quite clear that we have not been alone in our spiritual journey. We've had a lot of helpers along the way, both helping us to play the game of separation and now helping us to go forward in alignment. We are one, a group of mighty souls giving experiences not only to each other, but also to the one who has created us as the one. There is a perfect spiritual system. One God, one self, one being. Perfect God, perfect self, perfect being. There is just one of us helping each other. Rest assured that Now Creations is in the flow of this oneness, and we will continue to be so. Let me now take you into meditation. It's a pleasure to do so. Let's begin as we normally do by simply focusing on the breath, and allow the breath to awaken within us that wonderful, wonderful spirit. Relaxing your body, reducing your mental chatter, and bringing you forward. Please begin. And would you simply now say to yourself, here I am. Here I am. And when you say, here I am, May you understand yourself that you are the soul spirit. You are that eternal energy that has not left your source. And would you take a moment to locate that energy right behind your sternum within your physical body? Here I am. Here I am. We've had a lot of helpers in our journey up to now. We've probably had an awful lot of helpers prior to coming into our human experience. But in the human experience, we know that we have had many helpers. We've had many helpers to experience what we are not. Oh my, we seem to be so convincing to each other. Sometimes got mad at each other, didn't like each other, perhaps cursed each other. Now we can look back and see that we seemed to be doing that, but that was never who we truly were. We can look back and understand that none of this needs to have been taken personally, either from another to ourselves or from ourselves to another. We were just helping to experience separation. Would you lay to rest any misgivings from the past? There are no enemies. They were just helpers, so that we could experience what we were not in the process of experiencing who we now are. Would you lay to rest the past? What fun it is now to focus on the helpers we've had over the years. Just thinking of all the people who have entered our lives just at the right time. Just at the right time. The helpers. Moms, dads, families, friends, neighbors, co-workers, religion, pets, plants, God's Spirit, and each other. Would you simply acknowledge the plethora of helpers you have had? We were never in danger. We were never in danger, even when it seemed like things were difficult. We were never in danger. And may you come to understand now, without the burden of separation, that you will never be in danger again, for you will be in the light. From here on, you will be in the light. And in this process, may we continue to assist each other in now creations. And through the support we offer to each other, that we might be truly supportive to all the others with whom we share our lives.
Namaste. Peace resides, faith abounds, and love abides. The light shines bright to illumine love without, love within. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee. I honor thee. Namaste. I honor thee. When you are where you need to be, within that space, I honor thee. Seeing through eyes of illusion, seeing through spirit, I honor thee, I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. I honor thee, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor thee. Namaste, I honor
The past is done. The future is bright. And we will continue to help each other to brighten up our lives and to bring the light to all. What a joy to be with you, mighty helpers. Namaste.